I was such a fraud.
I can't wait for the day that Harry or Meghan will divorce his ass, because everything this man is saying just shows him up as the weakest, most vulgar traitor with absolutely zero backbone. Because the answer to the questions were the following: the reason why I'm not silent is because I'm getting paid an X amount of money to trash my family. The reason why I'm lying about them is because I have nothing bad to say about them. The reason why I believe in the monarchy is because I want to keep using the titles. The reason why I'm not saying I'm not coming back for sure to the monarchy is because things are not going pretty well in Montecito, you know, because my lies are not paying off. That's what he should have said. As usually, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. This is going to be a funny video, at least from my point of view, you know. But yes, I hope they bought a bowl for the dog, because, I mean, that's important that the dog has a bowl to eat. But where was Meghan when this episode happened? Because there she was out about in London when she said that she was never allowed to be out about in London, or she was out of the country when she said she didn't have a passport. I mean, there's so much to unpack here. Hello, gorgeous people. Hello, I hope you're all wonderful. Clearly, I'm not an advocate for violence, but I've been laughing my head off since Harry said that we know there's more to this story. We know that for a fact that Prince William is not just going to come into Harry's place and beat the crap out of him and then leave and then come back and apologize. And then there's a couple of questions for this. But even if he did, bravo for him, because I am one of the people who think that Harry needs a very good ass whooping. I really do. I mean, oh, he broke my collar. This is the two-tour captain, lieutenant captain, whatever, of Afghanistan. And after his brother came in, he broke the dog's bowl. He had to call his therapist. I'm trying not to laugh. I'm really trying not to laugh. Two questions. Where was Meghan? Where was Meghan? Because clearly she wasn't around. So where was she? Was she one of those trips where she couldn't go anywhere because she didn't have a passport? Because she wasn't there. Or was she out and about in London when she said that she couldn't get out of the house because she was not allowed to get out of the house? So we know now, we established that Meghan was not there. So where was she? Actually, it's three questions. Number two, so he had his therapist on speed dial because he called his therapist right away, right? So we know he had access to a therapist. So where did he lose the number when Meghan wanted to kill herself? And then, I mean, how does that work? He didn't have the therapist's number anymore. He couldn't hand over the phone and say, "Here, M, grab that. Here's my therapist. Call him." I mean, this is Harry, you know, oh my goodness, man, shut the up. Because the more you talk, the less of a man you become. Can you imagine if all of us were to call a therapist every time people got into a fight with their brothers or sisters? Can you believe that? This is a two-tour of Afghanistan military men who called the therapist because he broke the dog's bowl. And my question number three is, did they buy a new bowl for the dog? And thank goodness he didn't land on the dog, because then that would have been an even longer session of therapy. You know, I love Prince William. Can you imagine him charging in and beating the crap out of that? He didn't. He just grabbed him by the collar. This is by what Harry says, clearly, because everything this man says, it's I mean, the lies. There's got to be, we know that there's more to the story, but of course he's not saying it because he has to twist it around so it's that way.
I don't know how staying silent is ever going to make things better.
Wouldn't your brother say to you, Harry, how could you do this to me? After everything we went through, wouldn't that be what he would say?
Yes, that's what Prince William did to this idiot. Now, in this little clip that we saw, Tom Bradby tries to act and ask the questions so people won't accuse him of bias. Won't staying silent be better? Of course not. Because if he stays silent, he won't get paid the money he's getting paid to not be silent. It's okay for him not to be silent. You know, when we saw a little snippet with Anderson Cooper about him saying, well, never complain, never explain. That's the family motto, right? As just a motto. But people don't understand is what he's saying by that is, I can keep blabbing. It doesn't apply to me. I'm going to spill it all. Just like when Meghan Markle said, I have never signed an NDA. That's just a motto. It doesn't apply to me. I can speak and say whatever I want. Because he knows that indeed the royal family will never complain and will never explain. So he's a coward because he's attacking an opponent that the opponent has his hands tied. So that's what it means when he says never complain. It's just a motto. It doesn't hold water because it doesn't apply to him. Nobody made him sign an NDA. Okay, so when this Tom Bradby goes, but you know, you're not staying silent. Well, what good will that do? Of course. What good will that do to you, Harry? There will be no money on you for that. You know, I mean, that's the most stupid question there is.
Some people will say, you have railed against invasions of your privacy all your life. But the accusation will be, here are you invading the privacy of your most nearest and dearest without permission. That'll be the accusation.
That would be the accusation from the people that don't understand or don't want to believe that my family have been briefing the press.
Yes, Harry. You have railed all your life. You've even threatened to sue all the papers for invading your privacy. But now that you're doing it to somebody else, it's okay because you're getting paid for it. Can you imagine if his friends come out and start saying all the things that he did? I wonder if he'll sue them. Most likely because he sues at the drop of a hat. So he has railed all his life for his privacy. And here you are, invading the privacy of your dears and nears. Oh yeah, but that's okay. First, because I'm getting paid. And second, because they're leaking stories about me. What I don't see in this part is Tom Bradby hitting back and saying, but Harry, there is evidence that you and Meghan were briefing against your own family and even against Meghan Markle's family. You guys have been caught with your pants down. I don't see that question from Tom Bradby. I know the answer because Harry said we were just defending ourselves. And I'm getting paid. That's actually the real answer. I'm getting paid to lie about my family. This is not revelations. These are not truths. At the very best, they're a third of the truth. Yes, and I'm so proud of Prince William for coming and, you know, basically what he did is he grabbed him by the necklace, by the little precious shirt, and it tore. And then he had to call the therapist. Yes, privacy doesn't apply to others, only to him. He's allowed to bully, harass, lie, and slander others. But God forbid anybody does that. And he is allowed to do that for money. Because let's face it, the only reason he's sitting there and anybody's talking to him is because of the royal family's platform. Because otherwise, he's not smart, he's not interesting, and he's a liar. And he's not a man. Harry's not a man. That he calls his therapist over a fight with his brother, but his wife is about to kill herself, and Dory is there. And neither of them do anything about it. The shocker.
If you're invited to the coronation, will you come?
There's a lot that can happen between now and then. But, you know, the door is always open. The ball is in their court. There's a lot to be discussed, and I really hope that they are willing to sit down and talk about it.
Now, this is really interesting. If you're invited to the coronation, we are to assume that this interview was recently filmed because it's promoting those things, right? That means they haven't been invited to the coronation. Oh, and of course, he doesn't want to say no. Where is his pride on that? There's no money in it for him if he doesn't come to the coronation. Where is his pride in saying, no, I'm not going to. I'm not going to go to the coronation. That chapter of my life is done. I want nothing to do with the institution. I will be more than happy to visit my brother and father privately, but I will no longer participate in those archaic events of the institution of which my wife made fun of, you know, with the bow. Of course there's not. Oh, a lot can happen between now and then. No, Harry. Pride, if you were really that mistreated, if you were really that abused, there's absolutely no money on earth that will make me go and talk to my ex-husband, ever. And the people who aided him in abusing me. There's absolutely no money on earth. Now, I assume that there is no way on earth that you would be able to go back and talk to these people and this institution that made your wife almost kill herself and that horribly treated you and your wife and your little family. Where is the pride? What can happen in this institution? You're an idiot. You're a sellout. You're no man. No hay huevos. No hay huevos ahí abajo. Those of you go translate it. Huevos. in English. No hay huevo. ¿Dónde están los huevos, Harry? Where are your balls, Harry? So, I mean, and I'm going to make a little side note here because now he's saying that it was Prince William and the Duchess and Princess Catherine who told him to wear the Nazi uniform. Because he told him it's going to be the pilot one or the Nazi one. And that Prince William and Princess Catherine laughed their head off and said, of course, the Nazi uniform. And that Robert Lacey said it back then that it was Prince William's idea. I have another question for this, just a little side note. Why would Harry even contemplate wearing a Nazi uniform? Would you? That's the question. Why would he even contemplate wearing a Nazi uniform? Let's not forget that we're just talking about one picture, the one of him wearing the uniform. There are his two other buddies where he's dancing. One is wearing a blackface and the other one a Ku Klux Klan costume. So clearly there was a, how do you say, there was some, there was a kind of like a theme party, do you want to call it. So now Robert Lacey and now Harry saying that Princess Catherine and Prince William made him wear the uniform. Means that he's not a thinking human being. Why not, instead of a pilot and a Hawaiian girl uniform or get up, why would he think of even having a Nazi uniform as part of a costume to go to a party?
Do you still believe in the monarchy?
Yes.
Do you believe you'll play a part in its future?
I don't know.
Oh my God. How can he believe in the monarchy? I mean, I know many of you didn't watch the mockumentary that they were doing in Netflix, but they spent a whole chapter saying that the monarchy and the Commonwealth was, what was it? 2.0? I can't remember what it was. It was kind of like slavery 2.0 or something like that. The Empire 2.0 or something like that. They hired experts to trash the institution of the monarchy as archaic. They twisted around the Queen's very beautiful first speech I declare before you all, with my whole life, whether it be long or short, it shall be dedicated to your service. They removed that part, and they left into the service of our imperial family, to which we all belong. They removed that part because they spent an entire chapter. You saw how I reacted to that chapter, stating that that is Empire 2.0, Slavery 2.0, Exploitation 2.0. Yet he believes in it instead of denouncing it. Of course he does, because he wants to keep having those titles, because he's using those titles. How can he not believe that? How can he not believe that? And Tom Bradby is just going to keep wiping his ass Harry's ass with his face. That's how up his ass is. Because I'm sure Tom Bradby is not going to ask him in that interview. But in your mockumentary, you said that the monarchy, the Commonwealth, is Empire 2.0. You twisted around the Queen's speech to make it sound that she was an imperialist who wants to colonize. Colonization 2.0, that's what they call it, I think. Of course, those questions are not going to be asked, right? And of course, a lot can happen. And they want to come, but they haven't been invited yet. So all those rumors that they've been inviting are those rumors that are mostly put out by Harry to force the royal family to invite him to the coronation. All those things that Harry has been invited to the coronation, is up to them to decide. And it's incredible. I have to decide whether I come or not. First, you haven't been invited, dude. You haven't been invited. I, too, will decide whether I go to the coronation or not once I receive my invitation.
Hey, shush.
City. Of course he doesn't know. Because he wants to come back. Here he's saying he doesn't know whether he will come back to the royal family as a working royal or not. But to Anderson Cooper, he said no. So which one is it, Harry? First of all, nobody wants you back in the United Kingdom. I really do believe that will be the end of the monarchy as an institution if you're allowed to come back as a working royal. I don't care if you're allowed to come back as a stable boy for the royal family and in Prince William's Duchy of Cornwall. But as a working royal, no. But he's saying, I don't know, as though it is his prerogative, as though it is his option. No. I believe that a lot of people think that ship has sailed for you. And yes, to Anderson Cooper, he said, no. Again, which one is it? Which one is it? Harry said that you read that. Please, I hope you paused that. Harry said that there were 4 years in the monarchy. So let's do the math. Because this idiot clearly doesn't know how to count. He married Meghan Markle in May 2018. And they left out of the country for good. Because that excuse that they were going to Canada for vacations, they spent most of the 18 months from May till October out of the country in private planes taking trips and holidaying. Then there was Meghan Markle, and then there was maternity leave, and there was everything, right? They left, I think, at the end of October, and they didn't come back until the following year. But they effectively were there from May 2018 till the end of October 2019. That's 18 months, buddy. What 4 years? You hadn't even known Meghan Markle for 4 years at that point. I am really baffled by this idiot. I'm really baffled by this idiot. How can this man have been allowed to serve in the military in the United Kingdom? This is a big question that has to be asked. He has no balls. Huevos. ¿Dónde están los huevos, Harry? That's the question I have to ask you. The lies. These are not bombshells. These are not revelations. These are lies that he's telling the people. And the good thing is now we know he knew how to call a therapist for himself, not for the wife. Please leave me your comments.